All right, welcome into the shop. It is great to have y'all here. Now, this is a bit of an introduction video to a very large project I'm about to roll into. You know, in my last video, I kind of talked about how I was kind of going a little bit different direction with the channel. The business side here has gotten super busy. I'm hiring on an apprentice. He's coming on here soon. And just a lot of work to do. Actually, let me just tell you how much work. I've got it right here on my phone. Some really cool projects. You might be interested. So the McCurley record console, that was in the last video. That is actually still in the shop, getting oil put on it right now. That's getting finished up. The HEB projects, okay? So we got 3 rounds to make. That's what we're working on in this video, the tops. Waterfall table, waterfall bench, a coffee table. Then we're rolling into a dining room table based off the chosen table that I built. So I had a client who saw that and loved it, so they ordered one. A bench to go with that, or no, a bed to go with that project. Alamo can patterns, I got 3 more of those to make. Matt Carricker's dining room table, I gotta get started on that because he's gonna need that soon for his giant mansion he's restored. Seguin table, that's off my website, it's off my catalog, and a bench to go with that. A church pew, 3 golf ball display, actually 4 golf ball display cases, 2 of which are for Jake Arrieta, who is the pitcher for the Cubs, kind of cool. And we've got a 12-foot book match pecan slab Watford table, which is also off my website. A lot of work. I mean, that doesn't seem like a lot, but those are highly custom projects. They take a lot of shop time. So really exciting stuff. And as I go into filming all these builds, like I said, you're going to see the text in the bottom, so you're going to know exactly what we're working on. So just be aware of that new format. Now, before we start flattening these discs, I want to tell you real quick, the weather's cooling off here, and I've got my favorite flannel on from Muskox. This is a brand new pattern I just got. I've never really been a flannel guy until Muskox came around. Like, I always loved the idea of wearing flannels because it kind of comes with the trade. Like, a tough, burly woodworking dude needs to wear a flannel, right? I couldn't find any that I really liked that fit well until Muskox came along, and this is the perfect fitting flannel. Now, I want to mention real quick a little backstory here. A really good friend of mine started Muskox a couple of years ago, and they've faced a lot of challenges with COVID and everything. Let's not go into that. But they don't pay me to promote their products. They actually own a little bit of the company. I kind of figure if I'm going to own a company, why not own a company who makes flannels, right? Because I need a flannel. They give me free flannels, which is nice. I have 3 right now, so I rotate them through the shop. They are very good flannels. There's actually a review on their website from someone who bought the flannel off my recommendation and really liked it. And I understand why, because it is a good flannel. So as the weather cools off, we head into fall and to the winter, you need a good flannel for the shop. I highly recommend you head down to the description, go over to Muskox, check them out. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. They are durable, they fit well, and they look good. That's really all that matters.
How are you going to do it?
I think it's best to do it this way, maybe clip some of the paths off.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start by shimming it up on the table. I'm not really trying to, really level it a whole lot. It's pretty flat to start with. I just want to make sure it's not rocking. This thing's heavy as it is, so I'm not worried about it moving. I don't need to secure it. I just need to shim it so it doesn't rock. So I'll use the machine to kind of scale this thing. I'm finding my highest point and my lowest point right now. I'm just basically dropping the cutter head down in different areas of the machine and writing down the numbers. And then once I find the highest and lowest, I subtract those out and I figure out what that difference is. And that is how much material I'm gonna have to take off of the slab to get it all the way flat. And so I'll input that into the V-carve program. Also here I'm scaling the thickness. So I'm trying to find the thickest part of the slab to get that scaled out. Okay, so I run boot camp to do V-carve on my Mac. And I don't know how to use Windows very well. I don't know how to screen capture. So I'm gonna try to do this here with the camera. First thing we gotta do when this comes in is put in the thickness of the material. So we figured that to be 4 and a heavy 8. So we're gonna do 4.156, maybe something like that. That gives us about a 30-second extra. This is the tool path you're looking at here. All these lines is basically the path of the tool with the arrows. And this is for the spoil board. I just use that program because it makes it easy. So what I'm going to do is I need to figure out, I can trim some of these off so we're not cutting air. Come up here to about, we need about 49 inches. So if we come down 1, 2, if we cut 4 of these off, we'll be good to go. Snip, snip, snip. Okay. That's our tool path right there. So we got about 49 inches of cutting here and the full 60 inches here. So we're going to use all that. So now we got to program the machine to cut it. So we're going to go into that. We've already got spoil board profile here, but I can edit this. So cut depth is set to 0.04. Now we already know that we got half an inch. So I'm going to go 0.5. We're just going to do half an inch and see if that gets there. So it's showing 10 passes. So it shows down here we got 10 passes. Let's cut a pass out and see what that gives us. So 0.05. So if we do 8 passes, we're cutting exactly a 1/16 of an inch. And that makes sense because we got 16/16 in an inch. We're cutting 8, so that's half of 16/16, half inch. So my tooling is going to be running. We're going to kick this up from 10,000 to 12,000 RPM. I'm going about 350 inches per minute. I think that's about right, but I'm not an expert on this machine, so it's been working pretty good. Let's just go in here and see what time. This is going to take a little over an hour. Okay, so once we've got it all figured out in VCarve, load that into the machine. You can see it loading up right here. Next thing I need to do is set my offsets, basically tell the machine where the workpiece is on the machine. The X and Y axis is at 0 on the actual machine, so that's pretty simple. The Z axis, which is this axis that goes up and down, that is basically the highest point of the slab. So I marked that when I was scaling the slab earlier. I marked that on the slab. Now I can drop the machine or the cutter head down to that point and program it into the machine. That way the machine knows where to start cutting when it begins its program. Okay, so once the cutting starts, really I watch the first pass, the first whole run to make sure I'm not cutting too much. If I got one of my variables wrong, I could be cutting too deep into the wood. Basically what you see right there is what you want, just a light skim. Like we programmed it, I don't want to be taking any more than a 1/16 of an inch. So once I get through that first pass and I know I don't have anything off, I can pretty much leave it for the next hour and just let the machine run and do the passes it needs to get it down and take that 0.4 inches off the slab. You can see here the rough material kind of getting zeroed out and going down to that nice clean beautiful looking ingrain on that ash. Okay, so I've got my little shop helper here who just wandered into the shop. This is Judson. He shows up in the shop all the time. He likes being in here, don't you? You like the shop? Yeah. So once we've got the first side flattened out, we can take the shims out, flip it over, and basically do the same process. So we don't have to go back through all of the calculations we did, but it's the same as what we did before. This time what we're going to do is we're going to set our program to cut down to the lowest spot we find. So we'll take the machine, we'll scale it, and find the lowest point on that slab, set that into the program, and then we know the machine will cut down to whatever that is. I think it came out to about 3¼ inches thick is what that finished at. So same process, program it all up, lay it on the machine, and fire it up, and it's just a really fun thing to watch that machine level it out and get it all nice and perfectly flat. Here is a cool little time lapse of the last bit of flattening. Hope you enjoy it. What do you think, bud? Yeah. Okay, so here's a look at the finished slab. This is one of them. This is the biggest one I had. It's so cool because you've got actually got 4 piths in it. So 4 branches, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And you got some really cool, amazing kind of crotch wood right in between these. So when we get this sanded, I'll send these through the wide belt. It's gonna look so cool. You can see the tracks obviously from the cutting tool on the CNC. And the only trouble I had is it cuts clean on one side of the cut and then the other side tears out. It's not the cleanest cut you would want. I mean, I can sand that out, but anyone who has a little bit more experience with a CNC might have an answer for why. You know, it's weird how it works because at one rotation you're getting a clean cut and as it comes back around, you're getting a not clean cut. Very strange. Let's go look at the other ones real quick. So these 3 over here are set aside for the 3 rounds, and I know I'm probably going to get some kickback, but the design and the way the architect and I decided to do this is we're going to take the live edge mostly off. So I'm going to put these back on the CNC now that they're all flat and the same thickness, and this will happen in the next video. And this one has some really cool crotch grain in here. Gnarly figure in that. It's going to look really cool once we oil it. We'll cut a circle, and so we'll leave some bark here, some bark there. We'll probably put some bow ties in to stabilize this, and it'll be a round piece that fits on that table. And I think it's going to be really pretty stunning, pretty cool looking. I know a lot of people are going to not like the idea of taking the bark edge off, but you just wait. You wait till it's finished. It's going to be super, super cool. Definitely some premium material. I cannot wait to get started on these tables. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that cool little process. I think it was kind of fun. Good intro into what's going to be happening with those tables, those HEB rounds. That's going to be a really cool build video. I'm going to be working on that coming up here real soon. I got one quick last announcement for you guys. I'm excited about this. I've launched a Patreon page. Now, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years, never did Patreon because I just knew I didn't have the time to commit to it. But because I want to be able to start teaching some of my knowledge to you guys. And I don't really see that happening on YouTube. I'm not really a instructional video type of channel. So on the Patreon, it's all focused towards kind of connecting with my viewers and teaching, sharing my knowledge, sharing what I know. So there'll be a private Discord that you'll have access to where you can directly chat with me in the shop, ask questions about projects I'm working on, the Argosy, anything like that, and top priority will be able to chat with you and talk to you about that. There's also extra digital bonus footage, like ton of footage from these videos, a lot of nuggets that get missed. Like for instance, this behind me is you can't see it, but the record console I'm putting finish on now. This is the drawer and it has a really cool carved pull in it. I got a little bit of I've already uploaded a little video on Patreon showing kind of how I did that back bevel in there. Things like that just get missed a lot in YouTube. So I just wanted to announce that and say, hey, if you're interested in learning more about this craft and you want to become part of the community, head on over to the Patreon and sign up. I'd greatly appreciate it. As always, I do appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you watching my videos. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Cannot wait to gear up and start launching into some awesome content on some of these builds we talked about earlier in this video. It's going to be cool stuff. So y'all stay tuned. We'll see you next time.